When you were opening your gym, I bet you were doing these. But then we get sucked into all the delivery and putting out the fires and ordering supplies and changing cards on file. And this just gets pushed down to the bottom. And then we wonder, why is our business not growing? If you're in your business, chances are you're not talking to anybody outside your business.
This is the Reinforce Your Gym podcast with your host, Dustin Vogel. This show is about arming gym owners with the tools, strategies, and lessons they need to take their business to the next level. That way, they can make a greater impact in their community. Now, let's get to work and reinforce your gym.
Gym owners, recently I was approached and asked, what would the perfect day look like for a gym owner? And I don't want to generalize and say everyone should have the same type of day, but I will say today's episode is for you. If you want your business to be growing, if you want more members, if you want to make more money, I can tell you what the perfect day looks like. But you got to choose, are you in that mindset? Are you in growth mode? Are you ready to put in the work and not do the stuff you love? Do what's needed, what's required, right? Sometimes you got to put your boots on and do the dirty work to get the business to grow. That's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you the cheat sheet to grow your business to the next level. And if this is your first episode of the Reinforce Your Gym podcast, I want to introduce myself real quick. My name is Dustin Vogel. I scaled from 1 to 6 gyms in 6 years. And so I know I have a lot of great experience that I can pass on to you to shortcut your growth, and that we don't have to take as much time to get to that next level that you want to achieve, right? Whether that's more locations or just more members, more profits. These are the things that, again, I help most gym owners to accomplish. So let's dive into this week's episode. We're going to be talking about the perfect day where you spend your time on high ROI activities and not on low-level tasks that are just a bunch of busy work and make you feel like you're doing something. By the end of the day, they weren't the effective things that grow the business, right? So let's talk about that real quick. What's the difference between effective and efficient? Efficient is usually about trying to maximize speed, get this thing done and get that thing done and get through 100 items on a to-do list in a day. I had a very efficient day. I felt good. I got a lot of dopamine hits crossing things off my to-do list. But then you fast forward a few weeks, a few months, and nothing is changing in the business. That means I am very much bogged down with busy work. I'm just, catching hot potatoes and throwing them to the next person. I am just putting out fires, and I am not doing effective work. What is effective? Effective means you put energy into something and big outcomes are going to come from that, right? So that means the business grows, you get more members, you have more net profit at the end of the month, you have a more simple business, a more effective overall business when you are putting your time and energy into those effective things. So like, how efficient is your day and how effective are you? Of course, you could do a little bit of both, but at the end of the day, we want your head on the effective things that have impact on the business. All right. So first things first, before I go into like what a gym owner should be doing, I want to talk about when, right? When are we doing these things? So this comes down to time management, guys. We know that money management and energy management and all these other things we got to manage. Well, I will tell you right now, if you're not managing your time, somebody else can easily come in at any time and rob you of your time. And really, that's them robbing you from growing your business. So you have to put boundaries. You got to block it off. So my call for you is to just block out 3 hours per day where you just go head down on these high ROI activities that I'm going to share with you. You turn off distractions. Your phone is on do not disturb. It is on silent. It is face down, or better yet, it's out of reach. Studies have shown if something is within arm's reach of our arms, we will grab it more and look at it more, and including the candy dish helps you not pack on pounds by not having that on your desk. Well, not having your phone on your desk will help you to be more efficient. So first, build out your perfect workspace, your environment, right? You can build this in a home office, you go to a coffee shop, whatever, but build out a no distractions work zone and time on your calendar. And I would prefer at the time that you are fresh and peppy and you're feeling good, and you will do these things with the most energy, right? A lot of people who I find push this to the end of the day, they will procrastinate on it. They'll push it to the next day. At the end of the day, it feels like a lot more work than it does at the beginning of the day when you're fresh and you got that energy. So if I were to argue ideal time slot, it's going to be early in the day, preferably before 1 p.m., right? So most of us are early risers. If you want to do this from like 5 to 8, 8 to 11, after you drop the kids off from school, whatever. but find that 3 hour sweet spot and lock in. And here's again, another key tip. Communicate it. If you get those hours locked on your calendar and then distraction after distraction, your spouse comes in, your team's calling you, you'll be frustrated, but it's because you didn't set that expectation. Like, hey guys, these 3 hours, I really would prefer to not be disturbed. Nothing you run into will need my immediate attention. A client needs to cancel, let's hit it after my 3 hour block. You need a day off, no problem. Text me after this 3 hour block. We'll figure it out. Any problem you can think of does not need you immediately. And if it does, then it probably is not still need me, because that means the place is on fire, the toilet is clogged, you need to be calling somebody else, right? So that's the first thing, is make your time block and set your expectation. That allows you to have the most chance of success, all right? Now, here is the 2 categories we're gonna hit today, all right? The 2 ROI activities are going to be marketing activities and sales activities, all right? Those are your biggest high ROI activities that you, the owner, need to put some time and energy into if you want them to work well. All right. So I'm going to go into this, first being your marketing. All right. Your marketing activities. So this is about making noise, getting the word out. And really, sales depends on marketing. There is no sales without marketing. And that's why I say start with this. This is you getting noise out about your business. So an easy one is post on social media. All right. 3 to 5 times a week. Make it fun, make it engaging, talk about a variety of things. You don't have to just do the same thing every day. The most common thing I see is a lot of gyms are posting client milestones. This client hit 50, 100, 200 sessions. That's awesome. But if that's all your feed is, it will start to become pretty lame to your followers and they are not going to engage. You're basically, by them not engaging, it's only a matter of time until you disappear off their feed, because Facebook and Instagram are reading, are people stopping and looking at this? If not, we'll just take it off their feed because we want them to have a feed of things that engage them. So you can get them involved. You can ask them to comment. You can ask them to like. You can ask them questions where you're trying to get a lot of people to comment on things, all in the name of engagement. That's the game on social media, right? So you can tell your clients stories and add some emotion to it, add some drama. Don't just say, this is John, he lost 50 pounds with us, hooray, right? That's a very surface level post. Add his story, tell what he does for work, what were his struggles like, and then what's life like after. These things get higher engagement, right? Fat loss tips. If you want to share that, if you're a transformation program, if you have a different type of program, you could share tips around that. Lead magnets. Hey, I just made a free guide about this. Who wants it? I have a free course on this. Who wants it, right? Like putting out lead magnets on social media is a great thing to be doing. How about hand raising posts? I know people kind of have like icky feelings about those good old, I'm looking for 5 people who want to do X. But the crazy part is they still work. And the only person who sees them everywhere is you, because you're in the industry. I promise you, your clients and your leads have not seen a lot of these things, right? So it's okay to call out a gender in a certain radius, a city that wants a certain outcome, right? You could say, I'm looking for 5 ladies in Dallas that want to lose 20 plus pounds by working with me 3 times a week. Who's interested? And I will tell you, that is still a phenomenal way to get leads without paying anything. It's just you posting on social media. And this is what I mean by higher ROI activities, is like putting out noise and getting behind a megaphone and saying, we're here, we want to make a difference. Who needs our help? If you're not doing that, then I promise you, your business is not growing. And no one on your team is going to do it with the same zest and fire as you will, because you have the most skin in the game, right? You can hire people to do this, but no one will do it like the owner. So this is why, again, I'm trying to think about you being on a budget and making it work, right? So that is number 1. Number 2, exact same thing, but now you're just duplicating it into an email blast. You can take all your social media posts and you can email those to your email list, right? So you can share those client success stories. You can give the fat loss tips. You can make offers. You can say, I'm looking for. And a lot of owners, I ask, why are you not sending emails? I don't know what to write. It's hard to come up with something. Guys, we got AI now, right? You can tell it that a rough idea of what you're looking to send and it'll write it for you. So don't get caught up in your head about it. But I would say at least commit to 2 emails a week and just get into the habit of that, right? So we're on social media, post 5 days a week, email blast at least 2 times a week. You can see why your calendar needs this attention. All right, next we got text blasts. So if you text people once a week and ask an engaging question, a discovery question, right? Hey, are you still interested in our program? Hey, are you looking to lose weight or tone up? hey, what is your biggest struggle? Is it workout, nutrition, or both, right? And so these are all things that I'm just texting my list. These guys gave you your phone number. They are literally saying, I give you permission to sell me fitness, but owners say, I don't want to bother them, right? I don't want to message them, which to me is odd because you say you want to help people and then they say, I'm ready for your help. And then you don't reach out, right? That's like a mindset you got to work through. And that is, again, something holding you back from growing your business. All right. Another great thing you could be doing to market your business is, I know I've been talking a lot about getting new people to come and work with you, but hey, how about you personally text your past members, right? Make a personal reach out and just say, hey, I was thinking about you. Hey, I'm wondering how things are going with your fitness. And I just wanted to see, check in on you. And so like that level of care from the owner of the business, I promise you, when you do a lot of these activities and you do them daily and you're consistent, the same talk we give our members, you will start to create a snowball that your business will look drastically different in 90 days from now, right? So Ed Milet calls this the 90-day echo. What you do today will create the life that you have 90 days from now, but the life you have today is a result of what you did 90 days prior, right? So that is the beauty of this thing, is that your business can be very, very different 90 days from now if you put time and energy into these things. Okay. Moving on. That same concept, personal reach outs. How about you do that to your members, right? Do you have something you can upsell them into that hopefully solves more of their problems? You're not just trying to sell them something to sell them something. Like, hey, I have another solution. Do you have this problem? Would love to, get you on board. Or B, you can say, do you know anybody else who needs help with their health and fitness? You got any referrals? We appreciate referrals. And again, make them some sort of sweetheart offer where if they do it, maybe they get some sort of gift from you or an incentive. Maybe you'll knock $50 off their next month and their buddy gets $50 off their first month. I call that the two-way referral. That is a great option for you to be doing at this time. All right. And then for my owners that love to get outside and hustle, and they're like, I'm not afraid of work. I'm bodybuilding prepping. I need to get my steps in, or I'm trying to lean out. I'm trying to get my steps in. Well, I got a crazy idea. Why don't you get your outdoor steps, combine it with marketing, and do door hangers, right? And these are super inexpensive. You can get like 1,000 of them for a couple $100. Put a QR code on this puppy and get out in the neighborhoods around your gym that have your ideal avatar and get out there and do your steps and hang up some door hangers, right? Make it a family affair. Go after dinner and say, we're all going to go out walking and we're going to do some door hangers, and let your kids run up and hang them up, right? We can have fun while we're doing this. Man, oh man, this is another just amazing idea that I know a lot of gym owners are going to take action on. But the ones that do this, I see them get sales from these because it's so unique, right? How many times have you gotten a door hanger for a gym in today's world? Like, we just put so much time and energy into digital. We're not doing just these very easy things that can get people through the door. So that is topic number one, priority number one, ROI activity number one is marketing, guys. Like, get on your computer, get on front of camera, get on the phone, get to step in, but start telling the world about your business. And again, I want to point back to when you were opening your gym. I bet you were doing these because you said, holy crap, is anybody going to be there on day one? I hope to God, I better do a lot of marketing. But then we get sucked into all the delivery and putting out the fires and ordering supplies and changing cards on file. And this just gets pushed down to the bottom. And then we wonder, why is our business not growing? Well, you, my friend, are spending zero time on marketing. You need to get out and tell the world about your business, right? And I guarantee this as well. If you're in your business, chances are you're not talking to anybody outside your business. And conversations are what going to lead to conversions, right? You need to be talking to more people. You need to get to know new people and just have more contacts in the community. Gym owners, I don't want you to have the reputation in town as the gym that doesn't call people back, all right? We know it's critical when someone's finally made a decision to get healthy and fit that we get to them as quickly as possible. This can be solved by plugging in our remote sales reps, okay? It's not AI, it's not a bot, it's a real human that's working on your leads, the new ones that come in from your ads and the old leads in your database. And they're there to qualify the leads, to ask them discovery questions and to make sure they're a good fit. And then their job is to move them forward in your sales process so that you get more members month over month. All right, if you want to learn about our remote sales reps, go ahead and go to gymreinforcements.com, book a call, and we'll tell you more about it. See you then. So now we're going to go to high priority and high ROI activity number 2, and that is sales, right? The good old friend of marketing. So now this marketing section was about making noise. Now we're about collecting money, right? That is sales, right? When I've sold you, you give me money for the service, right? And so essentially, this comes down to your value being more than the money they're giving you, right? And so I kind of even tell people, hey, you know what's kind of interesting about your closing percentage? That tells you how much of the market thinks that giving you money is more than the value that they're going to receive, right? So if you have 70% closing percentage, I mean, 70% of the market thinks that your service and your value is higher than the money that they're exchanging for it. And if you're at 40% closing, then that's 40% of the market, right? So I actually think you can get too high. I think if you're at 90% closing, your price is too low. That's like the unhealthy amount of friction. We need healthy friction. You kind of need to be in that 70% range. You're probably at the right around price. And then 40%, your price might be too high, or you just need to improve sales, right? But there's something going on. And I like asking about closing percentage because there's some great clues you can find in there, right? So now let's get into some things you can do when you are putting time and energy into this activity. All right, number 1, if you are a trial gym, I say there's 2 types of gyms. There's trial gyms that do trials to membership, and then there's appointment gyms that do direct to membership, TTM and DTM, right? So if you're a TTM gym, you do trial to membership. Well, number 1, I would say every single day, who is on active trial, and call them and close them on membership, right? Get them closed. Don't let them slip through your fingers. Don't let them end their trial and not become a member, especially if we have a short trial, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but lots of people run 3-day or 7-day trials. That is a short amount of time to make a membership decision. So don't let these quality people slip through your cracks, right? The second is calling unconverted trials. All right, now you had trials that expired, they did not become a member for whatever reason, and they went off and did something else. Call these people. Say, hey, you didn't decide to go with us, I get it, but what did you do? Are you doing nothing? Well, we'd love to have you back, and boom, you can make them a new offer, right? And I don't like to resell them the same thing they already did, because they're going to say, been there, done that. You want to have something different, right? Some novelty. So that's for you to kind of think through with your team, but that's something you could absolutely be doing during these high ROI activity hours, all right? What about reaching out to non-starters? Most people don't track this, and I think that's a shame. But how many people buy a trial and just never even come in once, or maybe just once and then they don't come? I call these non-starters. That means they never even activated their trial. Maybe the price was so low that it didn't really bother them, or maybe they got busy. You need to call these people and say, hey, we will credit you that time, but you need to get started in the next week or 2. We can't keep a credit on file forever. So don't worry. Don't feel ashamed. We know life got busy. You didn't use your trial, but let's get you started next week. Absolutely worth your time, right? To maximize your sales, make sure all your trials get activated and used. All right, here's your next one. How about you go to members who have canceled in the last 3 months and you offer them a short membership type of offer, right? So maybe a 3-month paid in full, 12 weeks. You're like, hey, I know you canceled. That was a few months ago. We'd love to have you back. And in fact, we can get you on a short-term program, right? We could do 3 months paid in full. It might feel like a small win, but once they're in there and they're loving it, you can get them back into 12-month membership after that 3-month paid in full. So that is a great, easy one, because again, what they're probably fearful is to come right back into a 12-month membership. So by you offering a low risk option, boom, easy sale to go to all of your recent cancels and get them back. All right, here's another one for you guys. How about people who are on freeze? I bet you got some members on freeze. When's the last time you reach out to them and said, are you ready to come off of freeze, right? We just wait for them to reach out to us. You need to actively reach out to them. So I hope you see, guys, I'm giving you a list of things to do in just 3 hours. I'm sure you can find many of these things are possible and you can absolutely spend time on, and they will bring money into your doors, right? Here's another one. How about MIA clients? I call these missing in action. They have an active membership, but they haven't been in a week or 2. Get a hold of them and get them to just commit to coming in for a workout in the next 24 to 48 hours. Reason being, this isn't sales. You're not collecting money, but you are saving a sale, right? That is a ticking time bomb. I promise you, that is someone ready to cancel their membership if you do not reactivate them. So call these people and get their workout booked. Okay. All right. Moving on. How about asking a client that is in a membership to do a one-on-one with you to refresh on their goals? And this is an upsell opportunity. You could sell them supplements. You could sell them a second tier of service. But first, you got to listen out and hear what their problems are. Maybe you got nothing for them, and that's fine. You could just give them some coaching. But this is a great thing to do, is kind of like redating your members. All right. We're so caught in the day-to-day of just delivering workouts that we don't stop and say, what are your goals? Like, let's realign. I have lost touch with what you're working on right now, and I want to get back on track, and go and meet with all your clients. And yes, I know it's a lot of work, 100, 200, 300 people. You got to go and do a one-on-one, but they will be over the moon that you take a interest back in them, and you're not just new type of focused. And I'm telling you, you can sell them to retail like supplements. You can upsell them. You can ask for referrals. There's so many amazing things that can happen by taking time. And you're also going to be getting feedback, I promise you, on ways to improve your service. All right, here's another one. Run a flash sale. When sales are kind of stuck, this is kind of like my buster to get some momentum going. If they're like, hey, we've been trying to text and call and sell and no one's bought anything in like 2 or 3 days, we feel really stuck. My antidote is run a flash sale, and I don't want to overdo these. I do one maybe once a quarter, but just say, all right, let's bust through it. We got to get the team's belief going again. We got to get the team's confidence. So if we eat a little bit on discounts, that's okay, but run a flash sale, 48 hours, real small. You can decide how much that discount is, but like stick to it and do not overextend it, right? Just very short, and boom, that works like a charm. Got a couple more for you guys. If you are, again, in sales mode and you're like, man, I get stuck on this objection, I don't know how to phrase this. Well, I got a great idea. How about you role play with good old ChatGPT on their voice system, right? They do have a voice ChatGPT. Instead of typing, you talk to it. So say, hey, ChatGPT, I need you to be my sales trainer. I sell fitness programs. You could tell it all about you, right? And you can say, I need help overcoming the price objection. I need help coming over the spouse objection. Can you role play with me? And it'll say, yep, no problem. And boom, you're off to the races. And it's in the privacy of your home office or wherever. You don't feel like you're under the gun. I found that this works really well with more introverted people who don't want to do that role play in front of all their peers or in public or whatever. So use this. This is an amazing tool. And again, you can fit this in during your 3 hours of ROI activities. And final one, record your actual sales appointments, okay? If you want feedback on that, I tell people, hey, GR clients, I say, hey, you feel free to send them to me. I'll give you feedback if you want me to listen to you at one of your appointments in your gym and give you feedback. But hey, at the end of the day, this is one of the best things you can do for yourself, is to record yourself and go back and listen to it. And it becomes a great training tool, because in sports, this is second nature. It's like, what? You don't record your games and watch your game film? That's weird. But in fitness, we don't do that. But I say, hey, change that mindset. Record your sales meetings. All you gotta do is take your phone, put it face down, put the audio recorder, and just have a very casual conversation with the person in your office, and then go back and listen to it. You don't got to share with anybody. You don't got to publish it. This is just an internal training tool. Number one, this is huge when you want to train a sales manager or general manager. You could give them these recordings and boom, they got gold that they can immediately use as a training system. Second, for you, you get to listen back to yourself and say, man, I was kind of talking a lot. I kind of interrupted them a lot. I don't like how I overcame this price objection. And then guess what? You can go back to ChatGPT and have it give you sales training around that, right? So those are all my ideas, guys. I came in guns loaded, wanted to just barf them all over you because I want you to grow. But like I said, if you want your business to be bigger and better 90 days from now, first, time management. Block it off. 3 hours a day, no distractions. You're doing marketing for half that time, about 90 minutes, and then you're doing sales. And then your business will explode. I promise you, if you put your head down and do this. So that's my call to action to you guys. That's the perfect day of a gym owner, is they're just devoting 3 hours a day to marketing and sales. And if you don't have that as an option, fight to get to that point, because I promise you, that is when the juicy stuff happens. If you guys got any questions, send me a DM. And if you enjoyed today's podcast, give me a 5-star review. All right. I will talk to you guys later. Hey, gym owners, let's face it. You probably don't love digital marketing. You probably don't want to go into Facebook and load the ad up and think of ad copy and creatives and optimize it daily. Well, hand that over to me and my team, because we're geeks about marketing and we want to flood your gym with new members so you can change their life Let us do what we do best. All right, go to gymreinforcements.com, book a call. Don't bring the credit card. It's not a hard pitch. It's just a conversation to see if we're a good fit. Talk soon.